record on this computer. Good. Okay, we are ready to record. All right. So this session is being recorded. I do have a strip of your faces down the side of my screen. If you don't want to be on the recording, feel free to close your camera, but you're welcome to have it on or have it off or whatever's comfortable for you. Okay, and like I said, everyone's muted just to cut down on background noise. I'm going to do my best to cover all these topics in a timely manner. Every time I do this Zoom, I add a little bit more to it because I'm always finding out more and more things about CamTwist. So I'm going to do my best to keep this to a little bit under an hour and then still leave time for questions afterwards. While I'm screen sharing, it's hard for me to see the chat box because I have like 100 things going on my screen. So I will do my best to get to your questions. Megan Locke from the Google Slides group is here right now. She may have to pop out, but while she's here, she will be happy to answer your questions if you have any. And if I don't get to your question right away when you type it, please feel free at the end to unmute yourself and ask away, and I will be happy to help any way I can. So this is me. I live in Connecticut with my husband and my 4 kids. I am the former owner of a My Gym Children's Fitness Center franchise. My husband and I owned a children's fitness center for 9 years, and it was a 7-day-a-week, 24-hour-a-day job. And while it was both wonderful and terrible, we decided to sell it, and now he works full-time, and I do VIPKID, and I stay home with my kids. I have been with VIPKID, oh, this needs updating, since January of last year. So this has been a little bit over a year. And I'm not a mentor. This training is not affiliated with VIPKID in any way. This is just me kind of sharing my knowledge with the teaching community. I am an admin in the Google Slides group. I am an admin in the CamTwist support group, and I am self-taught on CamTwist. So even though you people probably look at me and think that I am an expert, I am not. I learned just like you guys did. I didn't even know what CamTwist was a year ago. I didn't start using it until I think May of last year. I just picked it up really quickly, and I played around with it enough to be able to find out all the cool stuff that it does. So that's why I'm here. So before we begin, if you are a brand new CamTwist person, whoops, and you are, or you haven't downloaded yet, or you have downloaded and you just haven't done anything with it yet, I was talking about this a little bit before. You can find CamTwist just by Googling it, or you can go to CamTwistStudio.com, which is the website where you can download it. It is free. It's 100% free. ManyCam has a free version, but it's limited, and then you have to upgrade and pay to get more capability. CamTwist, it's just free 100%. Make sure that you choose the package install. When you download CamTwist, it will ask you if you want to do a package install or a manual, and if you choose the manual, it will not communicate with the VIPKID classroom. So be sure that you choose the package. When you choose the package install, it will give you a warning that says this is by an unknown developer, and it won't let you download it. But if you go into your Mac settings under privacy and security, you will be able to just hit the button that says allow anyway, and it should allow you to download it. Make sure your preferences look like this. The most important one here is keep cameras warm, this little button right here. That's an important one. And actually this video size, it kind of, it's funny that this is like this because now I have a different one, but this one doesn't, I guess it's not as important, but I usually have it set to 640 by 480. But these boxes down here should not be checked. And if you want to keep your preview on top so that it doesn't get layered underneath your windows that you're using, you want to check that button on the bottom. You can just screenshot this if you want it. I should update that video size. Like I said, I'm always changing this Zoom. It needs to be updated. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so we are going to learn 8 major points of CamTwist tonight. We are going to I'm going to show you some examples of CamTwist with Google Slides in the classroom, just things that I've recorded from my own playbacks in my own classes. I'm going to show you lesson props, I'm going to show you rewards, and I'm going to show you extension. And then I will show you how to very easily plug in your iPad so that you can use it as a projected screen onto CamTwist, which is the easiest, simplest way to use CamTwist. So if you're a brand new user and you have an iPad or an iPhone, that is a really, really good way to kind of get your feet wet with CamTwist before you kind of delve into all the stuff that we're going to do tonight. Then I will show you how to set up a picture-in-picture. So you can't really see it on my screen right now, but down here in this corner, I have my picture-in-picture, my rewards down here right now. I'm going to show you how to set these up so that you have one for your rewards and then another one for your props, and also how to save the settings so that you don't have to reset every morning before you teach. I'll show you how to keep your rewards visible throughout class, which is a really easy switch. Like I have mine down here right now. And then when I give the reward, I switch this picture so that I become small in the corner and then the rewards get big, which is really easy. Oh, Gianna, yes, you you need the the video is called the Prep Time Saver, but I condensed it into a better video. Actually, you guys should know this. I did a brand new updated Google Slides and CamTwist general video, and I've kind of took this Zoom and condensed it down into an 11-minute video. So when you're done here, if you're like, oh my God, she talked so fast, which people tell me all the time, I don't know what to do, you can go to my YouTube channel and you can check out that video. It'll tell you everything you want to know. I'm going to show you a recorded example of me navigating my computer screen and windows throughout class. I'm a one monitor user. So I know that there are lots of people that have multiple monitors and things going on when they're doing webcam software. I do this all on my MacBook Pro. So it's just a laptop screen. It's not very big and it's totally doable. So if you only have one monitor, don't feel like you don't have enough. You do. I will show you how to set up a second desktop on your Mac using a really cool feature called Mission Control that we'll talk a lot more about later. And then I'm going to show you a couple of effects that you might use along with your Google Slides that are just built right into CamTwist that might come in handy for you. And lastly, I'm going to give you a little bit of an intro to the CamTwist Studio and using hotkeys or keyboard shortcuts as a way to bring up your Google Slides and so forth so that you don't have to have your CamTwist screen kind of taking over a big portion of your monitor while you are teaching. And like I said before, I have a YouTube video of everything that we're going to learn tonight. So if I go too fast, check out my YouTube channel and you will probably be all set. That being said, I am available kind of all the time. So if you have a question, if you have a problem or whatever, feel free to tag me in the Google Slides group or in the CamTwist group, and I am usually right there with an answer for you as quick as I can. I usually just send you a link to one of my videos. So I have a video for everything. Diana, my YouTube name is just Amy Morganson. So you can look for that. If you look for Amy Morganson Google Slides or Amy Morganson CamTwist, you'll see me come up. Okay, so first off, I'm going to show you a video of those three examples that I was telling you, props, rewards, and extension. I have to turn my headset off so that you can hear the audio on this, and it takes a second to disconnect, so just give me a second. Okay. All right, so let's turn this on. Can you hear it?
W. Y. Z. Good. Very good, Heidi. Nice job. You did it. Okay, Shark. Let's choose 1 or 2. 1. Okay, let's look. Oh, banana peel. No. No, that's not good. Let's try 2. Let's try 2. Ooh, cotton candy. Cotton candy. Yummy, yummy. Good job, Shark. Very good. Nice. What do you want to put in the soup? I want some stones. Stones. Okay, let's see the question for stones. What lesson can we learn from stone soup? It is good to share with others, or it is funny to trick others? What do you think? To share with others. Yes, you got it. And you get a star, Iris. Very good. Nice job. That
Can't hear myself anymore. There we go. Okay, so that is what CamTwist can do in your classroom. It really enhances your classroom. It's going to make things a lot more fun for teaching for you. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to show you how to use your iPad or your iPhone along with CamTwist. I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to bring up the CamTwist main window. And unfortunately, I need to clear this out, and my background and everything is going to disappear, which I hate, but here we go. Goodbye. All right, let me turn on my webcam. It's hilarious that it wants me to use ManyCam. FaceTime camera. There we go. So there I am. There's my green screen behind me. And my picture looks different because I have lighting effects and everything on CamTwist too. So I look a little different. I'm going to pull up the preview so you can see me. Okay, so here I am. All right, so like I was saying, this is a really good way to kind of start out using CamTwist. You can use your iPad or your iPhone. And right now, my iPad is plugged into my computer. It's just using the regular charging cord. So there's no like it is USB. There's no like HDMI cable or anything like that. It's just plugged in using the regular charging cable. So once it is plugged in, you are going to go over to the webcam and you're just going to select it. So yours is probably blue. I changed colors on my computer so it's purple, but you're just going to select it. So don't double click on it, just select it so that it's highlighted. And then you're going to go down to these picture in picture buttons down here, PIP, and you're going to click that. And then you're going to go over here to the webcam settings. And when you click over here, there's a drop-down box. And when you have your phone or your iPad plugged in, it should show up on this drop-down. So when I choose iPad, it's going to take a second because I haven't done this recently. And you can see that my iPad screen is now on my face. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go over to this PIP webcam I just created, and I'm going to double click on it. And I'm going to rename it iPad Rewards, just so I know what it is. Now, this little checkbox here can turn it on, turn it off, or whatever you want to do. So I'm going to leave it on, and I'm going to go over to the PIP settings, and I'm going to scale this down because I want it to be like little in the corner over here. So I like mine to be about 0.6. It doesn't have to be perfect. 0.6. And I'm going to move this little black dot that's on the screen here. So wherever I move this black dot, it's going to move that picture. So I'm just going to put it in the corner right about here. Cool. So now this is on my desk or on my lap or whatever, and I don't have to worry about glare, and I don't have to hold it up to the screen and make sure I'm showing the right portion of the screen. It's just on my screen. So whatever I do here is going to show up here. So this is, if you haven't seen Chef Dino yet, this is my latest creation. You can click on the bread, and there goes. So everything that's happening here is happening here as well. So you just bring up your slides on your iPad as if you were going to hold them up to the screen, as you might have already been doing if you've been using Google Slides, but it's going to show here instead of on your iPad. So it's tiny, right? So it's in the corner and it's very small. And when you give the reward to your student, you would like it to be big. So there's a fabulous little button here. At the bottom of this PIP settings column right here, there's this button right here that says swap with video source. Once you hit that button, it will swap it. So now the reward is big, you are small, life is good. So that's all you have to do. And then when you're done giving the reward, you can head Dino back to the main screen here. I'm just clicking on my iPad and it's not responding. Oops, I had a notification come up, that's why. There we go. And then you can just hit it back and you can go back to teaching. Now, one little annoying thing about the iPad, you can probably see at the top of the screen here, I have my URL bar up at the top of the screen. That annoys me. I don't like this. I don't like having the URL bar up there, but it is because I like to have my, when I'm using my iPad, I like to be able to use rewards and props on the same device at the same time. So in order to do that, I have to open them in a browser instead of in the Google Slides app, and it leaves that URL bar at the top. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but it's a lesser of two evils. You can either not use CamTwist or you can have your little URL bar at the top. So don't worry about that. Let's see. Use the CamTwist camera or the FaceTime camera when using the iPad. So the webcam part that is me right here is the FaceTime camera on my computer, and then the iPad is chosen from the webcam settings here. So that's what that difference is. So I have one of me and one of the iPad. Yes, turn on Do Not Disturb when you are doing this. And I also highly recommend that you turn off the auto lock so that this screen stays on all the time so that it doesn't go black on you. Because if it goes black on you, it's going to go black in the classroom as well. Okay, so let me just swap myself back here. That's it for the iPad, you guys. That's all you have to do. You just have to make a second pip and or make a second webcam and turn it into a pip and put it down here, and then you can just hit that button. That's it. So super simple. If you wanted to start using CamTwist tomorrow, you could go ahead and do that. Yes, Megan says make sure that your iTunes is synced. That's important. I don't use my iPad anymore because I use the green screen setup and everything on my screen. And I had not done it for a long time. And my last Zoom, I was totally freaking out because it wasn't working and I couldn't figure out what the problem was. And I was like, I'm not gonna be able to show people how to use this. And it was just that iTunes, like it needed to just sync up. And then once it did, everything was fine. So when you plug in your iPad into your computer, it will automatically open iTunes, and then it's gonna like throw a bunch of messages at you like, we need to sync with this computer and blah, 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 blah. Just say yes to everything and it will work. Okay, so are we supposed to save this? Betsy, yes, thank you for the segue. So once you have this set up where you've got your webcam and then you've got your iPad rewards, that's really all you need. That's really all you need to do this. You're just going to hit save setup and you can call the setup whatever you want. I called mine, I have it down here, iPad rewards. Call it whatever you want. Call it, I don't know, whatever you want. But make sure that you uncheck this box before you save it. Don't include video source should be unchecked. There should be no checked boxes on this screen. And then you can hit save. And then the next time that you want to teach, if I clear this out and then I open up my iPad rewards, I can turn this on and it's there again. So it moved up a little bit because that was my saved one and not the one that I made today. Recent software on my iPad. My iPad is up to date. It's like, I don't know, iOS, what are we on, 15? I don't even know. It's whatever it is. But it is up to date. If you have an older iPad, you really just have to plug it in and check and see if it's gonna work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, cool. So let's move on. Let's go back to my, I have to keep moving this thing around. Okay, so how to use iPad, cool. All right, so how to set up your PIP windows with Google Slides and how to save your settings. All right, this is the bulk of what we're gonna talk about today. So here's the deal, and you need to understand this before we do what we're gonna do. So basically what we're gonna do here, you can see these little windows that I have set up on the corners of my monitor screen, and these are what we call the dummy slides, the blank slides. So basically what we're gonna do with CamTwist right now is we are going to open these reward slides. Let me move this over here. Over here. So I've got a Find a Star down here, and I've got a teacher versus student. So I open these in the browser windows, and I want CamTwist to take what is in that browser window and project it onto my screen right here so that I can flip it back and forth. Now, CamTwist it understands that you want it to talk to the browser window, but it needs to know which one, because right now I have like 4 or 5 different browser windows open on my screen. So we need a way to tell CamTwist, this is the window that I want you to put on the screen as my rewards, okay? So what we're going to do is create this dummy slide, this blank slide that says rewards on it. And this is going to be CamTwist's reference for every time you open CamTwist. You're going to have this slide open, and I have it saved right here on my browser. It's always here. I pinned it so you can't even close it by accident. And you always have this one come up first, so that CamTwist is like, oh, the reward window. Okay, I'll put whatever you put in that window. I'll put it up on your screen. So that's what we're going to do right now. So I'm going to go ahead and open a new Google Chrome window. Excuse me, my nose is itchy. And I'm going to make it a little bigger. We will size it down in a little bit. I'm going to close the chat for a minute. I just have too many things open on my screen. And I'm going to open my Google Drive. And I'm going to hit New. And I'm going to create a new Google slide. So just go to New, and then go to Google Slide. And I'm going to rename this untitled presentation Blank Rewards. And I'm actually going to call mine Blank Rewards 2 because I already have a Blank Rewards set up and I don't want to be confused. And right here, I'm just going to put the word rewards. Nice and easy, actually. And then I'm going to delete this other text box because I don't need it. And I'm going to close that. Okay, so now you have a blank reward Google slide that is going to be your CamTwist reference for the next time that you open up this setup. Now, it's huge, right? So you need it to be a much smaller window so that when you're teaching, it's not taking up all of this room on your screen. So I'm going to actually put this into presenter view. So this little arrow next to the word present up here, I'm going to click on the little down arrow, and I'm going to choose presenter view. And the pop-up that comes up, you don't need it, so you can just close that. And I'm going to take this whole window, and I'm going to make it way smaller. In fact, I'm going to minimize these ones here so I don't get myself confused. Okay, so, and look, iTunes, right? This started when I put my iPad on. There we go, my screen looks much better now. Okay, so I've made the window much smaller. Now you'll notice that you don't want to make it this small because this pop-up menu that comes up, you don't want it to cover any part of your slide because that will show in the classroom when you're teaching. So if you move down here and this is popping up over your slide, all you have to do is just drag your window down, make it longer until that menu only shows up in the black area below your slide. Okay, so your window should be tall and thin, just like you want to be, right? Everyone wants to be tall and thin. So make it tall and thin, and then leave it here on your screen. Okay, so now that we have the blank one, we are gonna set up the picture-in-picture. So I'm gonna go move this down to the bottom. Okay, so we've got chat box questions here. Megan's on it, thank you, Megan. So I'm going to go over to the step 1 box on the CamTwist window, and I'm going to choose Desktop Plus this time. And I'm just highlighting it. I'm not double clicking it. Once it's highlighted, I'm going to use that picture-in-picture button like we used before, and it's going to put my entire desktop over my face. Now, I only want it to show that window that has the rewards in it. So I'm going to, why isn't this popping up here? Come on, CamTwist. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to that Desktop Plus pip that I just created, and I'm going to go over to the Desktop Plus settings. Once you click on that, this is being super laggy for me right now, you're going to click on Confine to Application Window. And once you do that, and you choose the particular window that you want, which is the Google Chrome one that has the Blank Rewards 2 open right now, once you choose that, now you see it's just that window showing on my face, but it's got black all around it. We need to fix that. So we're gonna go over to select the capture area. So down here underneath, so we're kind of just moving down this column over here. Select capture area, and it's gonna put this black box around your browser window, Okay, so you're going to drag it down because you only want the actual slide to show in your classroom. You don't want all the extra stuff in the browser window. Once you have selected the slide, you're going to hit Done Selecting. And then you're going to go to the PIP settings. So we're just switching tabs on that settings column over there. And when you hit Clear Background, it's going to get rid of those black bars at the top and bottom. And then same thing as before with the iPad, I'm going to make this about 0.6-ish, and I'm going to put it in the corner. Oops. Over here. Okay. Last thing you want to do is just go rename this to Rewards. Okay. I'm frozen? Am I frozen? Am I good? You can see me? Okay, cool. All right. Okay, so now we've got the rewards down in this corner here. Now we want to have your props. So this is going to be a separate window. So you can't have your rewards and your props in the same window. I guess you could, but it'd be really complicated. So we're going to do a separate window. So we're going to do, I keep having to move. You guys can't even see this on my screen, but I have this film strip of your faces and I have to keep moving it around the screen. So I'm going to do a new Chrome window. And I'm going to do the exact same thing that I just did. So I'm just going to rush through it because I already did it for you guys. You can go back and watch it again if you need to. But I'm just going to talk through it real quick. So I'm going to go to my Google Drive. I'm going to make a new blank Google slide. And this time I'm going to call it blank props or blank lessons or whatever you want to call your prop slides. I'll just kind of call it props. And I'm going to call it blank props 2. I'm going to put props here. I'm going to get rid of this, close that. I'm going to put it into presenter view. I'm going to make it small, thin, and tall. And this one I'm going to put here because that's where I put my rewards. And I'm going to do the same thing again. So I'm going to do Desktop Plus, Picture in Picture. I'm going to go to Desktop Plus settings, confine to application window. Now this time, make sure you choose the right one. I want blank props 2. And I'm going to select capture area and make it just the white part of the slide. Now this part I do a little bit differently. I'm done selecting, but this time when I do the PIP settings, my props, I like them to go as big as they can because a lot of times there's text on the prop slides and I like that to be as big as possible for the students. So I'm going to take this scale and I'm going to make it go real big. And then I'm going to rename this and I'm going to turn it off because I only use the props when I'm showing them in class. So if I have a prop slide of a ball, I'm going to say ball and have the student repeat it. And then I turn on the picture of a ball, they look at it for a second, and then I just turn it off again. So, so my props are not on screen all the time. You absolutely can have them on screen if you want to. You would just move this little box around, scale it down a little bit. You can put them like up here in this corner or whatever you want. But I like to have them just there when I need them. It's also a really great way to hide behind your slides so you can like blow your nose or take a sip of water, like cough, whatever you need to do. So it's kind of good to be able to hide behind the slides sometimes. So, so that's it. So now you've got your props and your rewards set up. So you would save this setup now. So you can save this setup to, you can name it whatever you want, but again, remember to unclick the don't include video source. Nothing should be checked on this screen. So I call this setup daily because it's the setup that I use every day. I've got my props and my rewards. So that's, I've got it down here, my daily set here. So I'm going to go ahead and call this daily 2, just so I don't confuse myself. And now, let's look at this for a second. So if I switch this, actually, let's do this one. If I switch this here in the browser window to go to my Google Drive, you can see on the screen that it's now showing my Google Drive. Okay. Now, if I clear out these effects and I start that daily 2 set again, now, even though my rewards are checked that they're supposed to be on, they're not showing on the screen. And that's because the window where I have my rewards is not showing that blank rewards slide that we paired it with. So if I bring up that blank rewards, boop, ta-da, there's my rewards, okay? So this is that magical thing that allows you to only have to set this up once. So every day, once you set this up, every day you can just open your daily set, and then as long as you have your blank rewards and your blank props showing the first time that you turn these on. So I just like go down and I just check and see that that's not gonna pop up either. There we go, now because I have the blank showing. I just turn them all on, and then once you've done it once, that's it, and you're good for the rest of the time that you have CamTwist open for that day. So this is a huge time saver. It doesn't seem like it because you guys don't know any different, but in the past, I had to go in and reselect that capture area every single morning, and it was really annoying. So now you don't have to do that anymore. You can just set up these blank slides, and then you're good to go. So I put my props over here in this corner, and then I put my rewards over here in this corner, and then you can fill these up with whatever you want, and whatever you put in these tabs will show up in the classroom. So like I don't have it set up very well right now, but like this would be, so let's say I've got this reward on. So let's say this is one of my rewards. Then when I'm done with that class, I would just close this, and then the next one would be ready in the next tab. So I just set up all of my classes all in a row. So I've got rewards for a 5:30, 6, 6:37, all in a row, and then you just close them as you go along. Okay, cool. Let me stop there for a second because that is everything that we need to know about that section. Oh, thank you, Kimberly. Yes, okay, this is really important. Do not resize these browser windows. If you resize the window, it's going to change how this looks in your classroom. And let me just show you right now. So if I take this window and I go like this, do you see what happens right here? It changes it, okay? So these windows have to stay, and I'm never gonna get this back exactly right. That's pretty good. These windows have to stay exactly the same size. I also do not even like to minimize them because sometimes when I minimize them, and for absolutely no reason that I can find, it like moves it over like an inch, and it's just really annoying. So I leave these open on my screen all the time, and we will talk about mission control in a little bit, which is a really easy way for you to be able to like save this setup on your screen and then be able to like go off to another screen and do your internet searching and shopping on Amazon. So that's coming up, okay? So yes, these have to be the same size every day, and actually I highly recommend not closing them, not minimizing them, just leaving them on your screen. Okay, I am a little bit off track, so let me go back to my thing here. Okay, keep your rewards visible throughout class. We kind of already covered that. It's just the swap video source button. So once you have your rewards, ta-da, and once it's set up, you just have to highlight this up here, and at the bottom of this pip settings, you just hit swap with video source, and then the rewards go big and you go small. Now, one thing that's a little bit annoying about this setup is that sometimes there's a picture that's like right behind you and your picture is kind of covering it. So there's two things you can do. You can go back to your little setup here, and you can check off the reward, because now technically you are in the box where the rewards are. So if you turn this off, then your picture will turn off. So then you can just just show it really quickly to your student, or you can take this little black box and you can just drag yourself down for a second and then be able to drag yourself up again. Okay. Sorry, Gianna, when you pin your blank reward as a tab, then every time you open Chrome, it is pinned there. No, I do have it saved as a shortcut on Chrome, but it's not gonna be pinned there every single time. The pin is really just so that you don't accidentally close it. So when you pin if you go to this Chrome window here and you right click or two finger click on it, you can do pin tab. And when you do that, it just takes away the X button so that you can't accidentally close it. Okay. Cool. All right. So one little thing about this video swap thing, because I did this on my very first day having CamTwist and I totally freaked out. So I don't want you to freak out. So let's say that you're going along and you are teaching your class and you want to go ahead and give the reward and you swap it. and you're like, yay, you get a whatever. And then you swap it back. And then you go to do a prop. So you bring over your prop slide and you turn on your prop, and whatever the prop is comes up, and then you close it. And then it's time to give your reward again. And you go over here and you hit swap with video source. Whoops, I disappeared. Okay? And the reason that happened is because up here, I was swapping my webcam with the props and not with the reward. Okay? So if it happens, don't freak out like I did and close everything and go back to your 2D rewards. You just have to hit the button again and it will bring you back. And then you just have to make sure that the rewards are highlighted before you hit the swap button. And this is just something that you have to train yourself with. So you just have to train in your brain. Every time you give a reward, you go up and highlight it and then hit the button. And then you can give your reward. Okay, so that's just a little word of warning. Even with, like, I don't use this setup anymore. I use Hotkeys. But even with like lots and lots of practice using CamTwist, I still would swap my props and my webcam sometimes. But the kids think it's funny. They're like, where did you go? And I just come back and it's fun. Okay, so how do you manage all this with the small screen? Thank you for the great segue, Carrie. We are going right into that next. So that, I think it's the next thing. Yes, okay, so I have a video on that. Imagine that. Thank you, that was excellent. Okay, so let me turn the audio off so that you can hear it. But basically, it's a little bit different now. I do things a little differently. This video is quite old, but I just was screen recording as I was teaching. So this is literally, you can see my mouse clicking around the different things on the swap video source button and so forth. So let's check it out. Okay, you can't see my play button. There we go.
Look, a jaguar. Jaguar, very good.
Click on the props to open them.
Jaguar. Good. I see a jaguar. Good, very good, Lulu. Jaguar. Excellent. Good, Lulu.
Now I'm highlighting
very good.
the
Let's
reward.
pop some more balloons.
Hitting the button.
Ready?
And now I'm clicking on the reward to pop the balloons.
Who is that?
And now I swap it back.
Good job, Lulu. Very good.
Connecting. Okay, there it goes. So that's how I do it on my small screen. There is a little bit of overlap. As you can see, the CamTwist window does kind of cover up the classroom a little bit, but it only covers the chat box, and it's only when you're clicking on the CamTwist screen, so I don't think that it's that big of a deal. But again, there is a learning curve to this. It will take you some practice to be able to, click where you need to click. I would highly recommend starting out with just rewards or just props, and just starting with one and then kind of building your way up from there. Okay, so setting up a second desktop on your Mac using mission control. Okay, so this is super cool. So remember how I said that these windows have to stay the same size and you probably shouldn't minimize them. Okay, well, for those of you who have an iPhone, you probably have like several screens set up on your iPhone where like you scroll over and then there's different icons, scroll over and there's different icons. You have the same capability right here on your Mac computer that you probably didn't even know that it existed. So if I go to the Launchpad, right here, there's this thing called Mission Control. It has the little windows on it, okay? Now, there are settings for it. I think you have to open it through the Finder to be able to get the settings. Let's see. There's Mission Control here. Here it is. Nope. I don't remember how to get the settings. It's in my video. Go watch my video. But don't worry too much about the settings, because basically all you have to do, I'm on a laptop, so I use 3 fingers and I just swipe up on my trackpad and it does this magical thing where it shows me all of my windows with no overlap. So I can see everything that's on my screen at one time. Now, if I go over here to this plus button, it's going to allow me to create another desktop. So it's like your second screen on your iPhone. So this one that I'm on right now is my teaching desktop. So I put everything that I need for teaching on here, my rewards, my props. This is my green screen background thing that if you're joining me next week, you're going to learn about this one. This is where I teach. When I'm done teaching, I swipe up, I go to desktop 2, and this is where I do everything else. Like, this is where I shop, this is where I search for stuff online, this is where I make my rewards. Everything else happens on this screen with my 4 adorable kids. So so I have like a separate, like a teaching desktop and then an everything else desktop. Okay. I really, like, it's been so long since I set it up, I really don't even remember how to do the setup for it, but it is in my YouTube video, so go check that out. Right, Diana? I agree. Wow, it's pretty awesome. So I don't know how to do it. I don't know if it's the same 3 fingers up on the mouse if you're on an iMac, but on the trackpad, it's just swipe 3 fingers up. You can also set up keyboard shortcuts. It can be like, you know, Shift L or whatever, and you can bring up your mission control. So that's amazing, and you should definitely use it because you really want to make sure that those windows stay the sizes that they are. Okay, extra CamTwist effects. So Gianna says, when I tried this on desktop 2, I would open Chrome and it would swipe. Okay. Little trick. So when you go down to at the bottom of the screen where all of your little icons are set up, if you 2-finger click on Chrome and you go over to options, it has a section over here where you can put it on all the desktops. You can put it on this desktop only, or you can assign it to a particular desktop or so forth. So I usually have Chrome open on all desktops just so I can open it wherever. No, that's 100% not true. I have Chrome set to desktop 1 only because that's where my other thing is. I have Safari set to all desktops. So it's checked right here, desktop 1 only. So that's how you can kind of place your windows where you want them to be. So I tend to use Google Chrome just for VIPKid teaching stuff, and then I use Safari for like everything else. So it just kind of keeps things simple. Yes, yeah, you can kind of like, that's just what I do. You don't have to do it that way. You can open a Safari window. And so check this out. If I, so let's say that I have a Safari window open. Come on. All right, fine. New window. If I go like this, and I can take this and drag it to a different desktop, and it'll open on that other desktop. So that's just like a cool thing that you can do. Okay, so let's talk about extra CamTwist effects. So right now, obviously, my green screen is not what I use when I'm teaching, but I also am not crazy about the lighting that I have here. So it's pretty bright lighting, but I just don't like how it falls on my face. So there's a lighting effect built right into CamTwist right here in the step 2 box on the main window that's called Gamma Adjust. And if you double click on it, it's going to make your picture go really dark, but you can adjust. So you can make yourself really bright and make it look like you have really fantastic lighting that you paid a lot of money for. And you can, you know, do whatever you want with this, make it whatever you want it to be. And then the other one that I use a lot is sharpen. So down here, I hit sharpen, and look at, like, see how, like, look at how fuzzy my picture was before. And you don't even realize it until you turn on sharpen, and you're like, oh, yeah, okay, that's actually a little bit too much sharpen. I'd probably have it more like here. But even still, like, it's definitely like a lot different than that. So I have Gamma Adjust and Sharpen built into all of my saved setups. Little tip, if you're going to add things like this to any setup, make sure that you save the setup when you're finished. Otherwise, you set this whole thing up, and then the next time you open the setup, it's gone. So make sure you save it after you're done, and make sure that you always have your blank rewards showing, or blank slides, both of them showing, anytime that you save a setup. Otherwise, you're going to lose your blanks, and you're going to lose that connection. You're going to have to redo everything. So make sure that you have those showing when you do your save setups. Okay, let's look at another effect. Where did my preview go? I had the chat box open, and oh, it's underneath. Okay, right there. Ooh, losing my mind. Okay, so let's go to text. So text is a great feature. I like to have my name on the screen, just like my regular setup just has Teacher Amy on the screen. So when you click on text, it's going to bring up this little box over here. It's not going to change on the screen what you have typed until you hit enter. So once you hit enter, then you will see your text on the screen, and you can change the color, you can change the font. It has like a million fonts here, and you can change the placement or the size of the text or whatever, and you can move this around wherever you want. So this is how my general teaching is set up, with my rewards here and my name here, and then I've got my green screen background. So, but you can also use this for like vocabulary words or whatever you want to do. You can kind of just throw some text up on your screen, and you can turn it on and off whenever you feel the need. And the last one that I use pretty often is the Telestrator. So this actually allows you to draw on your video feed. So it's right above the text effect. It's called the Telestrator, like Illustrator, but on your television. So when you click on this, it's going to bring up another window, like another little preview window on your screen. There's 3 of me on my screen right now. And you are going to use, this is the screen that you're going to draw on. So it's not going to let you draw on the classroom screen. So don't try that because it won't work. You need to be drawing on this Telestrator window. So you can change the color of whatever you're going to draw, and then you can like make a circle and make a happy face or whatever you're going to do, and it stays there. There's your happy face. And you can change the size of your pen. So if you want to have really thick lines or whatever, you can erase. You can clear and just get rid of everything that's on the screen. The most often time that I use this is if I throw up a screen like a Disney princess, like a screen of Disney princesses, and my student doesn't know the name of the princess that she likes the best, I just start circling them. I'll be like, I've got my eraser on right now. I'll be like, do you like this one? And they're like, no. You like this one? No. You like this one? Yes, that's the one. Then you can communicate with your student that way. You can turn the Telestrator illustrations on and off whenever you want to, but just be aware that it doesn't clear just because you turn it off. So if you turn it off and you turn it back on again, all of those things are going to come back. So the clear is on the little window. So clear it out when you're done. Okay, cool. So that is Telestrator. Let's see. That was all I had for that. Super cool. Okay, so intro into CamTwist Studio. Okay, we're running 8 minutes till the hour mark. Awesome. Let's see. Did I see another chat box question? The chat box is gone. You can circle on the Google Slides. Yes, you can. So when you have your pops up, you can circle on there, whatever you want to do. You can even save the Telestrator right into your setup, into your daily setup. So it's just always there. You just have to turn it on when you want it. Cool. All right. So let's talk about CamTwist Studio. Okay. So CamTwist Studio is, let me get rid of this because I don't want it there. It's basically it's a different way to preview yourself on the screen, and it's going to allow you to set up these hotkeys or keyboard shortcuts. Okay, so I'm going to show you this with my green screen background because that's where I have my hotkeys set up. Okay, and I'm not going to go into too much detail about this right now. Megan Locke has a great video on this that'll show you exactly how to use it, but I just want to let you know that it exists and just show you kind of how it works. Okay, so let me change over to, let's bring up the studio first. So up here in the top gray bar of your Mac, there is a menu that says View, and if you click on that and choose Studio, it's going to open your Studio view. When I teach, I make it really, really tiny in the corner there. I'm going to move this part up so you can see what's going on here. Okay, so this is the studio. So right now, over here on the red side, this is what is like live. This is what would be showing in the classroom while you are teaching. Okay, over here on the green side, which is the preview side, this is what's going to be like loaded up and like what can come next. Okay, now you'll notice down here, these little buttons that are down here, these correspond to your saved setups over here. So when I open I call this my background change out screen. My rewards aren't showing right now because this is the rewards 2 blank that I had created for this tutorial, and it's not linked to this setup, so it's not going to work. But actually, I kind of need it to work so I can show you. Link rewards. There we go. Ta-da! So if you look here, you can see that this one, that I call it background changeout, is my saved setup name, and it's red because it's showing on the screen right now. It's in the red section. This is what would show up in the classroom. Now, if I want to give a reward, just so I'm not confusing myself. Okay, so if I want to give a reward, I would choose my give reward button setup down here, and it puts it into like, this is what's coming next, okay? So in order to make the rewards go over to the on-screen section, I have to use one of these buttons over here. So I can just do a cut, which is just literally just gonna like swap them back and forth. Actually, if you have swap mode on, it will swap. Sorry, I had swap mode turned off, so it was confused. Here we go. So if I just do a cut, it's just going to like just swap. It's nothing fancy. I can also hit dissolve, and it does kind of like a little fade in, fade out thing to move these back and forth. Or you can choose one of these effects like dip, which makes it kind of like go in and go out. Or you can choose, this one's my favorite, I like ripple. And when you hit effect, it's going to go and swap these back and forth. Okay, so I have now, if you are only using rewards, this is great because you just hit effect and it just goes to reward, you give your reward, and then you hit effect and it goes back to your regular teaching screen. But because I use rewards and props and my regular teaching screen, this gets a little tricky, okay? So what I have done is I have set up hotkeys or keyboard shortcuts for each one of these setups so that I can just do it on my keyboard and I don't have to worry about using this screen or these buttons or anything at all, okay? Now, I put the swap mode on just so that you could see what's going on here, but when I use my hotkeys, I actually like to have the swap mode turned off. And I make this a little bit smaller so it's just kind of off in the corner and I don't really even need to think about it. So up at the top again, the menu at the top gray bar, when you click on user, it's going to show you all of these hotkeys that you have set up. So these are all the hotkeys that I have created. And when I hit edit this menu, it's going to show me all of them here. So I can change them, I can add them, I can subtract them, delete them, or whatever. But this is how you create the hotkeys, which buttons you're going to hit on your computer screen. So the first one that I set up is the transition. So what happens when it goes from the preview side into the program side. And I like the ripple one. And just to keep things easy in my head, I created the shortcut of Control R. You can see right here. So when I hit Control R on my screen, it puts this ripple effect and it makes whatever's in the preview go over to the program. Okay. Now, the other ones that I have set up are a studio toggle. So basically what that means is anytime that I hit Control N, which is my normal teaching background, or actually use Control B now for the background change out. Anytime I hit Control B, it's going to load it into the preview screen, and then I hit the Control R to ripple it. So I do the same thing for giving rewards. I hit Control G for give reward, it puts it into the preview, and then I can ripple it over to the program side. Okay, it takes a little bit for you to figure it out because we're used to this preview being what you see in the classroom, and now it's like totally opposite, which is weird. But what's really cool about it is that I don't have to have, like when I'm teaching, I literally have this screen like this big. And the only thing that I do with it, the only reason I have it there is if I click anywhere else, like if I go over here and I change my reward, if I try to do my keyboard shortcut right now, it's not going to work because my computer is looking at this screen, like up here in the top left corner, it says Chrome. I need it to say CamTwist. So I have to click on CamTwist before I do my hotkeys, and then it will work. So the only reason that I have that up in the corner is just to give it a quick tap before I do the hotkey. Otherwise, I don't use it for anything because this is what shows up in the classroom. So I don't even need to see this because I can already see it on my classroom portal screen. Does that make sense? Like I don't need the preview. Like when I'm normally teaching with CamTwist, if I'm not using Studio, I close my preview altogether because it's in the classroom. I don't need to look at it again. So So you can check out the video that Megan has on the hotkeys. It's going to be really helpful for you. The only difference that I have from Megan's video is that I did turn off that swap mode button, the one that is right here. I unchecked this swap mode button, because what I was finding is that when the swap is checked, if I go to give a reward and it puts my background or my regular teaching background into the preview, if I forget that that's in the preview, then if I go to hit the hotkey for the background again, it blanks it out. And that was really messing me up in the classroom, because I was just, every time I wanted to go back to my background, I was hitting Control B, and then it was blacking out. But that doesn't happen if you just uncheck the swap button. Every time I hit Control B, it will go there, and then I can swap it over. This probably sounds like Greek to a lot of you, and I apologize. This is more advanced CamTwist stuff. But if you want to green screen, this is what you have to do. This is the only way that you can Google Slides and green screen. So just like a little intro now. But it is kind of cool to be able to use it, even if you're not green screening. It's nice to be able to not have this big CamTwist window open on your screen and taking up a whole bunch of real estate on your monitor. So if you are going to be a one monitor teacher, it's kind of nice to be able to just use these keyboard shortcuts. I don't have this screen open at all when I'm teaching, nor do I have this screen open at all. I just click on CamTwist, I do my give reward, it ripples over, I do the money, oh, you get 2 points, cool, and then I put it back, and then I go back to my background. Whoops, I have to click on CamTwist before I go back to my background. There we go, now I'm back. So that is how the hotkeys work. Again, watch Megan's video on how to set it up. Okay, I've got some chat questions here. Do you actually have to have green fabric background to make this work, or is that in the computer? So legit, I do have green behind me. You probably saw it earlier. The reason for green is because it is a color that does not show up in people's skin very often. If you put pink behind you, then if you have rosy cheeks that day, like I do when I'm teaching all the time, your cheeks are you're gonna be able to see your background through your face. If you put orange behind you, same thing, you're gonna be in big trouble. So green is just like a neutral color that you don't see very often. One problem that I ran into, I have this dinosaur that I like to use. Look what happens to my dinosaur when I try to use him in a green screen. He disappears because he's green. So I actually went out and bought a brown dinosaur so I can still have one. But you have to be careful, any green props that you have, or don't wear a green shirt because it'll disappear, that kind of stuff. But what's behind me is not anything fancy. It's literally just fabric. It looks like the reusable grocery bags fabric. And I just got it on Amazon. It was like 10 bucks. But I've heard of teachers using a plastic tablecloth, like a roll of plastic tablecloth from the dollar store. Teachers using poster board, just buying green poster board, like 2 of them, and just putting them one on top of the other. As long as it's green and it's flat, it will work. So just anything green is totally fine. All right. Let me put these resources in the chat box for you. I think Megan already put my my YouTube channel in there. Where'd my chat box go? I lost it again. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and that will help. Oh, there it is, okay. Chat box. Okay, so this is the, oh, I need to go out of presenter view. This is the VIPKID Twisters group, Facebook group. So if you're not in there, make sure you join that. And this is my YouTube channel. There you go. Where did I get my background? I made it. I made it on Google Slides. I make everything on Google Slides. If you come to my green screen Zoom next week, I will show you how to, like, my background. Check this out, you guys. This is so awesome. This is just like a bonus. I know we're over an hour now. So Jackie Robinson, who is a moderator in the Google Slides group, and I have collaborated on what we call the green screen background library. And this is like the world's longest list of really cool backgrounds. So I can just click on this And I can be in China, I can be in Mongolia, I can be in India, I can be in Kenya, I can be in Egypt. So I can literally change out my background like that easily. It's just a Google slide set. So it's exactly like having your rewards over here. It's just that it's projected behind me instead. So, so we have like over 100 of these. There's a cool one that is fireworks. So when you're done with the UA, you can be like, yay, you win. And it's really cool. And you can change it out in the middle of class because it's that easy. But you can, there's like a million of these. We got some happy birthday ones. But this particular one I threw together because I was teaching a unit on the days of the week. And I was like, what the heck background am I gonna put behind me for days of the week? I don't have a calendar behind me. So I wanted just something kind of neutral. So I have this little just VIPKID and Dino and just little flags hanging. And it's my kind of my go-to for if I don't have something that goes really well with a unit, like food, or like I was doing bees pollinate flowers and so forth. So there's, I mean, this is a growing thing. It's a living document. We just keep adding to it. But this is, yeah, that's where I get all my backgrounds from. So pretty cool. Do you have a help video to download the CamTwist in your YouTube? I don't, Diana, I'm sorry. But I do have the, oh, you know what? Let me find the CamTwist troubleshooting guide. I'll put that on there too. I will give you that link to the CamTwist FAQ. Oops, FAQ, because that info is in there for you. So you can check that out there too. Okay, I am going to stop sharing my screen. And for anyone who has questions, please feel free to unmute yourself. I know that was like a ton of information that I just threw at you, but like I said, this session is being recorded. I should actually probably stop recording now. And I also have a video on my YouTube channel on pretty much everything that we just went over. So if you have questions, feel free to go and check those out. Does anyone have anything specific that you want to ask? No, I've completely overwhelmed all of you and you're all silent. You are welcome, Betsy. You're wonderful. You're welcome. You're welcome. It's really fun, you guys. Once you get used to it, it seems like woof, overwhelming at first. And at first I was overwhelmed by it too. But once you get used to it, it just makes it work. How big is my green screen? That's a really good question. Let's say about 4 feet across by, okay, well, this is cheating because I have an adjustable desk. So it lowers on its own and I can sit if I want to. I was standing while I was doing that. So I can sit too, and I can still teach. So my green screen goes a little bit higher than most people's would because I have the option to sit or to stand. So it's probably about 6. Yeah, I'd say it's about 4 by 6. But the fabric that I got was bigger than that, and I had to cut it. When will the next workshop be exactly, Debbie? We are going to green screen workshop this at the same time next week. Monday, 8 p.m. EST. And so if you want to learn how to do ladybugs behind you and use those hotkeys, we're going to go into like extreme detail on exactly how to do that. And use the Google slide backgrounds too. All right. All right, everybody. Unless anyone else has any questions, that is it for today. Thank you for coming. Feel free to find me in the CamTwisters group or the Google Slides group. You can tag me if you have questions, or you can PM me. Feel free. I've even hopped on a quick Zoom session. Betsy and I have done a couple of them together, just one-on-one if you're really running into trouble or you need some help. So feel free to get in touch with me, and I'm happy to help. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.